When I updated my daughter's bathroom, however long ago that was, I did not do anything about her mirror. So let's do something about it now. I went to HomeGoods, Michael's, and I got some silicone molds that I am going to pour resin into. This resin is super easy to use. You get 2 bottles in the box. You mix them 1-to-1 ratio, mix them up for a minute, and then you pour them into the molds and they dry in 10 minutes. And not only do you know that they are dry because they pour in clear and dry white, but the liquid heats up as you're stirring it. And once it's cool, you're ready to demold. And honestly, demolding is so satisfying because they come out so nicely, so pretty. And in order to do this mirror, I ended up using 4 boxes of this resin. If I had been better about it, I would have only needed 3, but I decided to be creative and try out all of the different flowers in these molds. And I did not use all of the flowers in the molds. So I ended up with a bunch of flowers that I am saving for other projects. Once I figured out the layout I wanted and how many flowers I needed, I then started hand painting them. I did a little test to see if hand painting would be better than spray painting, and I did land on hand painting. Each flower needed about 3 coats of paint. Some of them needed a little extra touch up after that, but not all of them. So I sat down and did them in batches, did 1 coat, did all the sides first, then did the tops, let that dry overnight, and then the next morning I would do a 2nd coat, and around lunchtime I would do the 3rd coat. I gave my daughter lots of color options, including things that would coordinate with her bathroom, and she landed on gold. Once all the flowers were painted and dried, I then started with adhering them to the mirror. I used clear construction adhesive to do this. I was very surprised though, because the adhesive dried very quickly and got pretty tacky and just adhered right to the mirror, and only a couple slid, and once I put them back where I wanted them to be, they stayed put. I started off doing the top of the mirror, and then once I had that done, I did both sides, followed up at the bottom. The pattern that I used for the top and the bottom was different than the one I used for the sides because the lengths were different. So I had to be a little creative, but I still made it work, and it still looks really very cohesive and intentional. I did learn that the best way to do this was to put the glue on all of the flowers first and then place them on the mirror. That gave the glue a little bit of time to get tacky before I adhered it, and that way I wasn't going back and forth constantly putting glue on and then putting a flower on and then putting glue on and then put a flower on. Here it is, all done. I do really like how it looks, especially the top and the sides. I don't love the bottom just because the flowers and the butterflies aren't hanging off the edge like they are everywhere else, but the backsplash from the countertop is in the way, so I wasn't going to move the mirror just to do that. It's fine the way it is. Good to know for the future. I also would have painted all of the backs of the flowers and the butterflies had I known that you could see some of them, but for the most part, when you're far away, you can't tell. And my daughter absolutely loves it. It is so much better than it was before though, so I'm all for that. And I will eventually change the light bulb in my daughter's bathroom. All the details for this are on my site, breezingthrough.com.